Your home for Black News First.
Count on Lowe's to lend a hand to prepare, recover, and rebuild during the wildfires. Lowe's is part of your neighborhood and want to make sure you have the supplies you need when you need them. Visit Lowe's in store or online to get emergency supplies now and learn about relief efforts in your area.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Very impressive performance by the Rams Monday night in the NFL playoffs. They dominated Minnesota with a 27-9 win in Glendale, Arizona. The Rams defense was lit. A playoff record 9 sacks, an interception, and a strip sack fumble that turned into a 57-yard touchdown for rookie defensive end Jared Verse. The Rams play at Philadelphia Sunday at noon. The Lakers, playing their first game in 6 days, lost at home to San Antonio 126-102. Before the game, the Lakers made an $8 million pledge to relief efforts in the battle against the wildfires in L.A. County. The Clippers beat Miami 109-98. Fans entering the Intuit Dome in Inglewood were given towels with the words L.A. Strong. Keep your radar up on this situation. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders confirmed that he had a conversation Monday with Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Jones is looking for a new coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
We gon' be alright.
KBLA Talk 1580 is amplifying Black voices and spotlighting our untold stories. I'm Dominique DePrima. Join me Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on Lincoln Avenue in Altadena, covering the individuals and families impacted by the Altadena Eaton fire. Hear from community leaders and those who have suffered losses that must not be forgotten. Together, we can help them rebuild and recover. Together, we are LA Strong, LA United, with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
Take me back to LA. Take me back to LA. Take me back to LA. I've laughed and I've cried, I've lived and I've died, stole from, gambled and cheated, cut corners outside. I've tried and I failed, stood tall when they run. I fought a cold war in the dead of the hot sun. Now take me back to LA.
KBLA Talk 1580, broadcasting from Leimert Park, Africatown, USA. And I am very honored to have my friend and an attorney, Areva Martin, joining us. She's the founder and president of the Special Needs Network, which is one of the nation's leading autism and social justice organizations. She is an attorney, an active attorney, and also a national commentator on outlets CNN and others. Areva Martin, good morning.
Good morning, Dominique. Thanks for having me.
First of all, you and your family, everybody's safe, everybody's good?
We are. We had a scary moment on Thursday of last week. We had to evacuate. We live out in the Calabasas area, and there was a chemist fire that was set near Calabasas, and that fire caused thousands of residents in the West Valley, Calabasas that is, to have to evacuate. So we were out for about 5 hours. Fortunately, we were able to go back to our home on the same night. No damage done to homes in my community, so feeling very blessed. Heart goes out to so many of the families who have been displaced, family members who've actually lost their lives during the Eaton and Palisades fires. Just such a difficult moment for our community. But as you know, Dominique, Los Angeles are incredibly resilient. And so I've already witnessed some of the incredible generosity of so many people across the region.
Yeah, I want to keep circling back to that because I feel like when we're really discouraged and when we're being bashed in the national media and we have inauguration of from hell on Monday, it's important to remember what is working and what is good, and we are good. We are really stepping up, making a difference in block by block, community by community, organization by organization. So I absolutely appreciate you pointing that out. There's also a long road ahead, and I know that people are concerned about insurance. We know this phenomena of insurance cancellations and companies leaving is not just a California problem. It's happening nationwide, but it's been more pronounced in California even before, long before these catastrophic fires, right?
Oh, absolutely. The insurance crisis that California faces is a crisis that the nation faces, but definitely more pronounced here because of the wildfires and because of the billions. I think I've seen an estimate upward of more than $50 billion in losses that have been sustained because of the fires.
That's insane. $50 billion is huge, but the also earthquakes and all of the impacts, some of them, native to California, some of them exacerbated by the climate emergency, has been causing insurance companies to just leave the state altogether. We're not going to do business there anymore. Giving homeowners fewer and fewer options, especially those who live in what they call the interface, where you're next to nature.
Absolutely, Dominique. And also what we know is that if you are in a home where you have a mortgage, your insurance company is mandating that you carry homeowners insurance because it's the way they protect their asset. But many of the families that have lost homes in Altadena and also the Pacific Palisades are homeowners who own their homes outright. Maybe they were left to them by their parents or their grandparents or another relative. And if you don't have a mortgage on your home, you aren't forced to carry homeowners insurance. So there are thousands of families who have lost everything, and there are no insurance benefits to even look to because the homes, because of what you just said, insurance companies leaving the state, many doubling and tripling their rates, families just decided to take the risk of not being insured.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start there. If I'm one of those legacy homeowners, what can I do? I mean, I don't have insurance because I'm not mandated to have it by the mortgage company, or I'm underinsured because some folks do have insurance, but it's not going to nearly cover what they've lost.
Well, the truth, Dominique, is you are going to be in a very precarious position because obviously if you don't have homeowners insurance and some renters who didn't have renters insurance, you're not going to be able to look to an insurance company to cover you. You're going to have to rely on FEMA, federal aid that's being provided, hopefully the state, the county, and the city of Los Angeles or the city of Altadena will step up and make some funding available for those homeowners who are underinsured, as you identified, or who have absolutely no insurance. But it's going to be incredibly challenging for those individuals to get the kind of funding and financing they would need to rebuild what in many instances will be multi-million-dollar properties.
Wow. So, and I'm hearing reports that real estate opportunists are already roving around trying to talk to people whose homes have burned to the ground and get them to agree to sell those properties. If I have no insurance and I'm not sure how I will rebuild, that's going to be a very alluring kind of situation where folks can end up actually walking away with a very small percentage of what their home or even the property itself could and should be worth.
No, you're absolutely correct. I'm hearing of stories where there are real estate developers and, as you call them, opportunists who are making offers to people already in this first week of this devastation. And let's talk about Altadena, Dominique. We know that was a vibrant community in some pockets, predominantly African American, generations of Black people who lived in Altadena. I'm so glad to hear you're going to be, covering the fires, the Eaton fires live this week from Altadena. I was over in that community yesterday at a relief center that Special Needs Network has contributed to standing up. And there's a real fear from residents in Altadena that no longer will there be this vibrant Black community, and that many Black families will not be able to build back in Altadena, and that once vibrant Black community will be taken over by these developers and opportunists.
So if you're one of those folks that doesn't have insurance because your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents left you that house, you got to at least get to be first in line at FEMA, need to register with FEMA. That's the first step, right?
Oh, absolutely. I would hope that most people have already gotten information about FEMA, but because we know that people are dispersed and many don't have access to internet, don't have access to radio or television, Special Needs Network, in conjunction with my law firm, Martin & Martin, and the Urban League and the She Ready Foundation and Loyola Law School, we are standing up resource centers throughout the county so that we can provide hands-on assistance to those individuals, helping them fill out applications for FEMA and also SBA. We should talk about SBA, Dominique. Biden ensured that there were resources in the Small Business Administration to provide low-interest loans, not just for businesses that have suffered devastation, but also for individuals. So SBA is typically not in the business of giving loans to individuals, only to businesses. But because of the devastation and because of a friendly, outgoing president, SBA is also making loans to individuals. So we are going to help folks submit applications for SBA, for FEMA, and for other programs. You're hearing about all of these entities like the NBA and others who have set up these relief funds, and we want to help people access some of those dollars.
So how will people connect with you to get that help?
So they can go to the Special Needs Network's website, snnla.org. They can go to my law firm's website, martinandmartin.org. They can go to the Urban League, LA Urban League, our social media sites. You follow me on social media at Areva Martin. We have flyers. We're going to be at New Revelation Baptist Church in Pasadena starting tomorrow, Wednesday, from 1 to 6. And then we're going to be roving throughout the county because what we know, Dominique, is that people are dispersed all over. Some people have gone to Palm Springs. Some have gone to Newport Beach. Some have gone to Bakersfield. So we want to go where people are, recognizing that the communities we once knew as Altadena, Pasadena, as Pacific Palisades, those communities have been decimated. And we're trying to find pockets of people, and we want to make sure that folks are getting help, because we know those folks who apply first, those folks who are diligent, who are tenacious, are going to be the ones who are likely to receive the maximum benefits available to them.
Yeah, that's great work, Attorney Areva Martin. I'm so glad to hear you doing that. I've been hearing that from everyone. Well, people go to where they have family they can stay with. Fontana, IE, Palm Springs, Bay Area, who knows, wherever they could be. So that's great work. I'm so excited to hear that you're doing that. And for those who are not aware, we'll be broadcasting from Perry's Joint on Lincoln in Pasadena, Altadena, Thursday from 6 to 9. We'll continue our conversation with Attorney Areva Martin. Want to ask you about this declaration by the State Insurance Commissioner and what it means or does not mean for those who are insured. That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has a program specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to resolve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077. 800-919-9077.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Somebody's been praying for me.
Thanks to the generous support of the KBLA Talk 1580 delegation, we were able to donate 545 pounds of coats and blankets to the LA mission this winter season.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
The LA mission expressed its deep gratitude for our gift all over social media, but we wish to thank them and all the other service providers who look out daily for the less fortunate in our community, finding our happy by being helpful.
Hallelujah.
We're KBLA Talk 1580, where we do more than just talk.
Somebody's been praying for me.
The Ignited Light program invites one and all to the 8th annual Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service, January 18th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. The spirit of Dr. King's legacy of service continues as local organizations come together. A drive-through food giveaway, free medical services, the Department of Children's Services offering employment opportunities. Foster and emancipated females aged 18 to 26 can take part in a very special She Ready luggage giveaway on Saturday, January 18th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Baldwin Hills Crenshaw Plaza. More info, visit adayon.org. Again, adayon.org. Drivers, please enter from the Marlton Ave entrance.
KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
And we're talking with attorney Areva Martin. She's just outlined how you guys are actually helping folks to get their lives in order, at least as far as, the FEMA opportunities, the SBA loans to individuals, which I wasn't even aware of that. And people can go to snla.org for Special Needs Network, of course, or martinandmartin.org or the LA Urban League to find out more about how to access these services. You said you'll be at New Revelation Church in Pasadena tomorrow from 1 to 6. So that's amazing and great work. What about those who have insurance? A lot of people are afraid they'll be dropped or denied, even if they do have insurance. And the insurance commissioner for the state of California has said that there is a moratorium now. I think it's 1 year for people in the evacuation zones. Is that going to have an impact? Do you know what that really means?
Well, hopefully what it means, Dominique, is that people who do make claims, and I am encouraging people, if you have insurance, to make a claim, that those people won't have their insurance dropped. As we talked about earlier in the show, major insurance companies fled the state of California, refusing to write critical homeowners insurance for the very devastation that families are facing today. And the insurance commissioner stepped in to say, if you want to write other lines of business in the state of California, you also have to provide coverage for wildfires, earthquakes, and other natural disasters. It's really shameful what insurance companies have been able to do. People pay their premiums faithfully for years, and then when they need their insurance companies the most, many have not been there. And I think our insurance commissioner obviously did the right thing. Some would say too little, too late. But at least I think there is some sense of assurance that has been given to homeowners. I talked to a family yesterday that lost their home in a fire, and she's afraid to even make a claim out of fear that she will be dropped. And I told her about the moratorium, trying to console her. Unfortunately, we don't want to see people gripped by fear and not making claims, because the reality is the government benefits, the state benefits, and other benefits in many instances just won't be enough for you to rebuild, again, a home that could be worth $1 million or $2 million. You are going to need the help of your insurance carrier. And in addition to the replacement cost of your home, insurance carriers right now, and I'm encouraging people, and this is what we'll be telling people at these resource centers, is you can get money for your displacement, so you can get immediate cash to help you with hotel expenses, with rental expenses, to help you with replacement of your clothing and other items that you've lost. So you should be talking like ASAP to your insurance company, to your adjuster, about all of your needs, not just the rebuilding of your home.
Right. And do most policies automatically include that? I mean, I think the majority of us probably don't pore over our home insurance policies and this is fascinating line by line. So is that a pretty common benefit?
It is a common benefit that there is some funding available for you when you've been displaced. We know the contents of your home are also insured. It gets a little technical in terms of, are you entitled to the replacement value of those items that you've lost versus the fair market value of those, or what some people would call the purchase price. So you bought an item for $50. Does your insurance company owe you that $50 that you paid for that item, or what the value? Say it's a piece of art. Maybe it's gone up in value. So maybe you bought it for $50 and now it's worth $200. Do they owe you the $50 or the $200? That's going to be some of the fighting that will go on between insureds and their insurers. And you raise a really good point. Many of us that own homes have policies, and we've not read what we'll call the fine print, right? Mm-hmm. And we're not familiar with what the benefits are. And I would encourage everyone, take a moment, even if you have not lost your home, find your policy, because many people don't even know where the policy is, right? Find your policy, review it, call your insurance broker, call your company, and do an audit of your policy so that you are very clear about what it covers and what it doesn't cover. So in the event you need to ever activate your benefits, you're very clear about what you're entitled to.
I've been seeing on social media, and you can't always believe everything you see on social media, but I've been seeing that we need to be, if we're able to do so, if we're still having access to our homes, taking pictures of everything, taking video, documenting what we actually have so that we can prove to our insurance companies that they owe what they owe.
Yes, I am a big proponent of that because, again, you may have an antique painting or sculpture, and if you lose it in a fire, are you going to remember everything in your home? Think about it. If someone asked you to itemize all of the items that you lost in the fire, could you do that? I would say most of us can't.
Yeah.
Particularly if you've lived in a home for 10, 15, 20 plus years, we don't actually remember all the items in our home. So it's a very good idea, not just to take pictures and videos, but also to do an inventory list of the items in your home. And if you have expensive jewelry or things that can be independently appraised, you want to make sure you do that as well. Because if you have grandma's diamond wedding ring, what is that really worth?
Yeah, it's a great point.
And how do you independently prove what it's worth? An appraisal, a jewelry appraisal, could help you state a claim and make a claim for an expensive piece of jewelry rather than, again, having to be in a protracted fight with your carrier over the value of that ring.
So for those who have already lost everything, and I'm just shocked by the number of people I know who have, maybe a good idea to start making a list now from memory, and even getting help from friends and family to try to recall what you did have.
Absolutely. And don't forget your photos on your iPhone. If you have photos in your cloud, which many of us may have, have, a lot of us have 30, 40, 50,000 pictures on our phones.
Yeah.
That's a good source. Think about all the pictures you've taken in your home and the backgrounds, right? So you're standing in front of your fireplace, or you're standing in front of your kitchen sink or whatever, and there are pictures of items in your home in a lot of those photos, because that could help jog your memory and help you start to create that list. But yes, I encourage people, because your insurance company is going to want, in many cases, a lot of that detail. Some will require more than others, but the more information, the more documentation you have. If you bought items on your credit cards, your credit card statements, that's another good source, right? Even if you didn't grab all your mail when you left, a lot of those statements are electronic. You can go to your MasterCard, your Visa card, your American Express, and get your invoices and look at purchases that you've made. So those are other ways that you can document items in your home, particularly those expensive items.
And I don't know if I've congratulated you yet. I think I probably have on your work in Palm Springs and getting reparations for those residents there. And just thinking about how we've been pushed out, burnt out, terrorized out of so many areas. And now this from a climate crisis-driven natural disaster. What is the number one message that you would give to Black residents there in Altadena and elsewhere who are concerned about the decimation of their community?
Your concern is real. And what we saw in Palm Springs was a complete erasure of a vibrant, predominantly Black community. Now, that was racially targeted by the city of Palm Springs. This, as you just said, was a natural disaster caused by climate change. But in the end, the result is the same, is that the Black community of Altadena has been decimated. One of the things I will also share is what I learned from my experience in Palm Springs is racial trauma is real. And I hope people take the time to get the help they need to process. We all have experienced community trauma from watching these fires and the devastation, but people who've actually experienced losses, whether it's the family that lost the father and the brother who were wheelchair bound, that story, Dominique, as you know, as a disability rights advocate, breaks my heart in little tiny pieces.
Yeah.
Son with cerebral palsy in a wheelchair, dad amputee in a wheelchair, did not get out of their home alive. That family and the families that knew that family, that the trauma that they are experiencing is real. And if it doesn't get processed, it becomes pathology. We do know that. So I would just encourage families, as you are looking to rebuild financially, don't overlook the help that you'll need to process this trauma.
Attorney Areva Martin, thank you so much for all the work you're doing, and thank you for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Dominique. Miss you, girl.
Miss
you
too.
Soon.
Talk soon.
Okay.
All right. We've got our county assessor, Jeff Prang, joining us next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. 1 week after deadly wildfires began in the LA area, officials are ready for high winds. The death toll is 24 with over 90,000 people under evacuation orders and tens of thousands more under warnings. Officials in Los Angeles are going after individuals allegedly caught looting as wildfires rage in the area. District Attorney Nathan Hockman says almost a dozen people are looking at charges for looting in different evacuation zones. Former special counsel Jack Smith claims his evidence against President-elect Trump would have led to a conviction. His final report was sent to Congress. And Carrie Underwood and the Village People will perform at President-elect Trump's inauguration next week. Underwood will sing at the swearing-in ceremony while the Village People will perform at an inaugural ball. I'm Bree Wood on the Black Information Network, your home for Black News First.
Count on Lowe's to lend a hand to prepare, recover, and rebuild during the wildfires. Lowe's is part of your neighborhood and want to make sure you have the supplies you need when you need them. Visit Lowe's in store or online to get emergency supplies now and learn about relief efforts in your area.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Very impressive performance by the Rams Monday night in the NFL playoffs. They dominated Minnesota with a 27-9 win in Glendale, Arizona. The Rams defense was lit. A playoff record 9 sacks, an interception, and a strip sack fumble that turned into a 57-yard touchdown for rookie defensive end Jared Verse. The Rams play at Philadelphia Sunday at noon. The Lakers, playing their first game in 6 days, lost at home to San Antonio 126-102. Before the game, the Lakers made an $8 million pledge to relief efforts in the battle against the wildfires in LA County. The Clippers beat Miami 109-98. Fans entering the Intuit Dome in Inglewood were given towels with the words LA Strong. Keep your radar up on this situation. Colorado football coach Deion Sanders confirmed that he had a conversation Monday with Dallas Cowboys owner Jerry Jones. Jones is looking for a new coach. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands with you in tough times, connecting you with resources and what you need to know. Evacuation shelters are located in the Pasadena Civic Center, the Dream Center in LA, the Westwood Recreation Center, and many more. You can call 311 for details. If you're in Los Angeles County and in need of food, call Omni Ministries at 310-631-1557. Donations can be made to Zelle, Omni Ministries, Inc. at yahoo.com. Parking Lot I outside of Rose Bowl Stadium is a pop-up mutual aid hub where you can pick up everything from clothing to food to hygiene supplies for free. To volunteer or donate to help victims of the fire, contact the LA Emergency Network at enla.org. The Cochran Firm and Ivy McNeil, Wyatt, Purcell and Diggs, Jasmine Canick, and others have launched a GoFundMe specifically targeting Altadena. Visit LA Fires. The impacted Black community urgently needs help on GoFundMe. And donate to help Black evacuees fighting for survival. Airbnb is offering free temporary housing to people displaced by the fires. Call 211 to sign up. The LA Chamber of Commerce is stepping up to help you sort out insurance claims and other paperwork. Reach them at 213-580-7500. South LA Cafe has free groceries, clothing, and water available at 1700 Browning Boulevard in LA. Track their giveaways or volunteer through their Instagram at South LA Cafe. U-Haul is donating short-term storage free of charge for 30 days to evacuees. Shelter for small or large animals can be accessed by calling 211. A Black-led coalition of community organizations is offering support and resources in the Altadena area at the Flint Ridge Center at 236 West Mountain Street in Pasadena. For comprehensive lists of resources for housing, food, shelter, and more, visit Mutual Aid LA Network on Instagram. Praying for LA and standing with you. KBLA Talk 1580.
1 in 3 children born today will get diabetes. This sad prediction by the Centers for Disease Control will come true if millions of Americans don't improve their lifestyles, especially by changing what they eat, how much they eat, and how active they are every day. Every 23 seconds, another American gets diabetes. Stop diabetes before it starts. To learn more, contact the American Diabetes Association or download our free diabetes education programs at learningaboutdiabetes.org.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and we're so very glad that you are here with us today, doing our best to provide resources and information in this time of crisis. And I'm pleased to welcome into the show this morning a man who was elected in 2014 as a 27th assessor for the County of Los Angeles, reelected in 2018 and 2022. He is... Prior to that, he served as a council member in the city of West Hollywood and did 4 terms as mayor there. I am talking about LA County Assessor Jeff Prang. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Your bio says you live in Baldwin Hills. There's a fact I did not know.
I do. I've lived here for the last 9 years in the neighborhood called the Dons.
Well familiar with that. First of all, let's start with the basic. I think a lot of people don't even know what an assessor does.
Sure. So let me begin by telling you what assessor does not do. I don't collect tax. The one thing I don't do is the one thing everybody thinks I do. I'm not the tax guy. I don't collect property taxes. I don't set tax rates. My job is to assess the value of property for purposes of taxing it. So we're basically real estate appraisers. So we tell you what the value of your property is. That's what your tax is based on. And obviously, there's a number of different departments that have a different piece of the property tax administrative system, and we're one of them.
And LA County is huge. It's like a state. I mean, it's bigger than some states, right? And that's so you're assessing what something is worth so that they can decide how much it should be taxed, and that adds up to $24 billion annually.
That's it in revenues. The total, what we call the assessed value, that's the inventory of everything and what its taxable value is, exceeds $2 trillion in LA County. Whew. We are the largest assessment jurisdiction in the country. We have we're responsible for valuing about 2.5 million real estate parcels and business assessments annually. We have about 1,400 employees, but half of them are certified property appraisers. And property taxes, along with sales taxes, are the 2 fundamental components that pay for local government. Your streets, police, fire, parks, libraries, public hospitals, criminal justice system are all paid for primarily through property taxes, and that really begins with my office.
So, if I buy, I'm a long-term homeowner, so when I buy a piece of property, my taxes are based on what that property was worth when I bought it, right?
Approximately, yes. So when you buy property, I will do my office will do the valuation, and we are responsible to enroll the market value of your property. Typically, people buy property at market value, and so that would become your new assessed value. So at your purchase price, that will then become your assessed value for tax purposes, and that won't change. Even as your house appreciates in value, your assessed value will remain stable. Except for a modest cost of living adjustment, which is capped at 2%.
Right. So that's why my property taxes go up every year, but not that much, right?
Yes. So one thing, just sometimes your taxes might go up more than 2% on your property tax bill, but it's not your property taxes that are going up. It might be sewer tax or school tax or transportation tax, but those are not things that are within my jurisdiction. So, but your actual property, that the home that you live in, will never exceed 2% unless you change ownership, and that could be something as simple as adding or deleting a name from a deed, or if you do new construction, such if you build an ADU, we're going to assess the value the value of that addition and add that to your assessed value.
So,
other than that, 2% of max.
So here's what, I think a lot of homeowners are concerned about. If I'm in the Eaton Fire, I'm in Arcadia, I'm a lot of black homeowners there who had gotten their homes passed on to them by their parents or grandparents, and my home burns to the ground. Now that's new construction. Does that mean now I have a new assessment and my property taxes go up?
No, because there are provisions in the law that take into consideration disasters. So the term that we use is a misfortune and calamity. So if your home is damaged or destroyed due to a flood, fire, or an earthquake, first we are going to reduce your assessed value to reflect that there's been damage. So if you had let's say a house that's worth $1 million and 50% is in land and 50% is in the building, and the house burns down, we're going to take $500,000 off of your assessed value until that house has been rebuilt. You can rebuild that house up in a major disaster like this one, up to 120% of what was previously there without being reassessed. You'll continue, your old tax rate will be restored once that property is rebuilt.
Is there something that we need to do to ensure that we are benefiting from this? Is there paperwork we need to file for that reduction and then to not be reassessed?
You won't be reassessed if you're in the fire damage area. I did want to assure everybody that we are going to be assessing the value of all the properties damaged, and we're going to proactively be lowering these assessments, whether you ask us to or not. We're going to go out and do physical inspections and make adjustments. However, I strongly recommend that everybody who had property damage file what's called, again, the misfortune and calamity form. It's downloadable on our website. We're actually standing up an app where people will be able to do it on their phones. What this will do is it's proactively telling us that your property is damaged. And then the benefit of filling out the paperwork is that information goes directly over to another department, the treasurer and tax collector. They're the ones who collect taxes. It's kind of in their name. But they will automatically defer your property tax bill. So if you have to pay the second installment on your property taxes come April of this year, by filling out the misfortune and calamity form, the tax collector will automatically defer your property tax payment. During the time of that referral, that will give us time to send you an adjusted bill to reflect that damage. Any penalties or interest will be canceled. So you certainly should fill out those forms.
Okay, you said the misfortune and calamity form, you have an app coming, but where is what's the website where we would find that form?
So it's assessor.lacounty.gov, assessor.lacounty.gov. And on the main page, first thing you'll see when you open up that page, it will say disaster relief. And when you click on that, there will be a number of tabs. One of them will say forms.
Okay. And I will look for that. So this is really, I think, like you said, critical, because you're saying that your office is going to go out to the fire burn areas and proactively say, okay, this burned, this burned, this burned, this burned. So you're going to automatically not reassess and put that in your system. But if they go and fill out the misfortune and calamity form, then that's communicated to the treasurer taxer's office. So then those deferments of what they owe and the reassessments, that sets that in motion.
That's correct. Everybody will eventually get that, those benefits. It's just easier and faster if you fill out the form.
Right. I mean, no one wants to get a bill and then have to fight it and go through all the rigmarole with what you owe. So I think that's great advice. We're talking with County Assessor Jeff Prang, and when we come forward, I want to talk about some mistakes that you see folks making or that you hope they don't make, because there's so much to track and so much panic and stress right now that I think your advice is really important for folks. And so I hope if you didn't lose everything, that you will write this down, pay attention, and pass it on to your friends and loved ones who have. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
We gon' be alright.
KBLA Talk 1580 is amplifying Black voices and spotlighting our untold stories. I'm Dominique DePrima. Join me Thursday from 6 to 9 a.m. as we broadcast live from Perry's Joint on Lincoln Avenue in Altadena, covering the individuals and families impacted by the Altadena Eaton fire. Hear from community leaders and those who have suffered losses that must not be forgotten. Together, we can help them rebuild and recover. Together, we are LA Strong, LA United, with your friends at KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
Imagine a Los Angeles where everyone can thrive, where communities have access to the resources they need to succeed. That's the vision of Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. They're dedicated to improving life in LA County by providing educational support, employment assistance, and spaces for community engagement. By 2050, they want LA to be the best place to connect, create, learn, live, and play. They're working toward an education system that's well-resourced and culturally responsive, becoming a hub for artists and innovators, and making sure everyone has access to healthy food, quality healthcare, and safe housing. It's about building a future where we all have the chance to succeed. We invite you to learn more about their mission and get involved with Detours Mentoring Group, Inc. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Taxes was waiting around for your taxes to be done, which led to worrying about not getting any money back. Now Taxes is matching with a TurboTax expert who can do your taxes in a day to get you up to $4,000 fast with a refund advance loan. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Expert filing only available with TurboTax Live Full Service. Refund advance has $0 loan fees and 0% APR. Refund advance loans may be issued by First Century Bank, N.A. or WebBank. Terms apply, subject to approval.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
And we are talking with County Assessor Jeff Prang, and some great and important information that you need to know if you've lost anything, something, everything in these fires, or if a loved one has. We're talking about the misfortune and calamity form that folks can fill out at assessor.lacounty.gov. And you mentioned that a lot of these adjustments would be happening automatically because you're sending out people to the evacuation areas. But I had also read that we only have 12 months to make sure that that this is clocked. So how does that balance out? Is that
so? Typically, under the misfortune and calamity law, you have to apply for relief within 12 months of the date of the incident. I had a conversation the other day with the President Pro Tem of the State Senate. I asked him if they're preparing legislative response to a lot of the needs. for fire victims. I asked them if they could extend that deadline by another 12 months, because clearly, if you've lost your home, the number of things that you have to do is just overwhelming, and learning about the bureaucracy of how to deal with taxes and assessments is probably not high on people's radar screen. So I want to make sure they get as much time as they need to take advantage of these programs. So I'm optimistic that deadline will be extended, but for the moment, it is 12 months.
I also noticed that you gave out assessor.lacounty.gov, but I also noticed you've got a phone number and that some folks are showing up at assistance centers to help people.
That's right. There's local assistance and disaster resource centers that are opening today, starting at 1 o'clock, going till 8 p.m. today, and then they'll be open daily from 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. Thereafter. There's a site on the west side at UCLA Research Park on 10850 West Pico, and then there's another one at Pasadena City College at the Community Education Center, which is at 3035 East Foothill Boulevard in Pasadena. And these disaster relief centers are going to have a variety of government agencies represented. Virtually anything that you might need from the government will be there to answer your questions. So we'll be able to help people with the misfortune, calamity forms. We can talk them through any questions they have about their property, the assessment, about what comes next, and we'll be able to handhold people through these very sometimes difficult processes.
So important. Some of our older adults and even some of the younger ones, but mostly the older ones, aren't so great with the internet. Can they call a number to get help?
Yes, they can. So the number is 213-974-3211. It's 213-974-3211. We'll have people answer the phone and walk you through whatever it is that you need.
I teed this up before news, traffic, and sports because I just, I know there's, like you said, there's so many things you got to think of, do, take care of if you've lost everything or even something. What are the mistakes that you see people making or that you hope they won't make?
The biggest mistake that we're concerned about at this point are scammers. There's as grotesque as it is, there's just tons of people who will attempt to take advantage of people who are suffering. And what you're likely to see is somebody who will offer to file your misfortune calamity form for you for a fee. There's another program called decline in value, which may also apply in many cases. If your property loses value, we will also lower the assessment, and they may offer to file that on your behalf for a fee. But just so you know that anybody filing those on your behalf has it won't happen any faster. They don't have any inside track. They don't have any special skills that will provide any value to you whatsoever. You're best off doing it on your own. Don't pay anybody, not just for assessor services. Government services are not fee-based. If somebody offers to do it for a fee, check out the website of that actual agency and call them to see if they.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Don't pay.
Because also, folks in those situations can end up getting access to information about you that could create, end up in calamity. So additional to what you're already dealing with. So it sounds like if you're feeling that you cannot go through the steps online or whatever, it would make sense to go to one of these disaster relief centers. You mentioned one at UCLA Research Park, one at the Community Education Center. Are these listed also on your site?
They should be.
Okay.
We're constantly putting information on the on the website.
So we have at least a year to get this form in, and you're looking to extend for another year. And I really do encourage people to do it if you can get the bandwidth, because I do think, the smoother this stuff is and the less you have to go back and correct, no, I lost everything, or no, I shouldn't be assessed this and that. The more time you have to fix the other challenges that you're facing in your life. I don't know, this may be outside of your portfolio, I'm not sure, but if my house burns down and I'm still like paying a mortgage, what happens with that?
That's something that's outside of my jurisdiction. I
Yeah.
believe that that they're working at the state level through the legislature to require mortgage companies to suspend the requirement for payments short term. How that will be reconciled with the money that goes to a mortgage company, I'm not quite. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Well, it sounds like the one key thing because I've heard a lot of people stressing about this, that I want to go back to where we started, which is that if you rebuild, if you're in a position to rebuild, you will not get a new assessment and now have higher property taxes that you can't afford. If your market value is based on your grandma's market value, that will remain in place for rebuilding, correct?
That is correct. Up to 120% of the pre-damaged value.
Now, is that the pre-damaged value of your grandma's assessment, or the pre-damaged value in today's market?
Yeah, so let's say that your grandma paid $100,000 for her house,
right?
But today it's worth $1 million,
right?
So it burns down, and you rebuild it. You can build up to a $1.2 million house and still pay taxes based on your grandmother's $100,000 assessment.
Okay, well, that's a relief. Is there anything else that you think homeowners urgently need to know? I feel like this is just an area of our daily lives that we just don't pay that much attention to.
It's always one of those. It's one of those behind the scene foundational things that people just kind of take for granted.
Yes.
Until they really have to interface with it. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible. We're trying to anticipate what needs are. That's why we're gonna. And when we get all the details from the fire agencies about which properties were destroyed and how bad they were, we will just automatically go in and reduce those values. Obviously, we have to look at each one individually over time.
Right, but you can't send me a notice if I don't have a house anymore.
That's correct. That's why it's important that you file the form with us. That's a proactive engagement that will help us ensure that you're going to get as much relief as you're entitled to.
Well, County Assessor Jeff Prang, I so appreciate your spending some time with us this morning.
My pleasure. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to speak with your audience. This is really important information, and I'm grateful for you helping us to get the word out.
Well, that's our job, and hopefully, if we see any more big changes on the horizon or opportunities, we'll have the opportunity to check back in with you and share it with our KBLA delegation.
I appreciate that. Please call us if we can be of more assistance.
Absolutely. And for our family, Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got an incredible show on tap for you. Don't forget, we will be in Altadena, Pasadena at Perry's Joint Thursday, broadcasting the entire show from there, hearing the stories from folks who are impacted, community leaders and what they need. And I will be there. I'll be there all morning. We will be able to accept some stuff dropped off, not used clothing, preferably just like gift cards and that kind of thing. It's best if you go directly to the drop-off centers at places like the Flint Ridge Center or the Pasadena Church East Campus. Just be strong and stay calm and remember that you are loved. Like my mama used to say, history's now and we're making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. 1 week after deadly wildfires began in the LA area, officials are ready for high winds. The death toll is 24 with over 90,000 people under evacuation orders and tens of thousands more under warnings. Officials in Los Angeles are going after individuals allegedly caught looting as wildfires rage in the area. District Attorney